Hey everyone, welcome back. It's another episode of CGPC, Course Garden Podcast. Tries it with you as always, host creator Shawn Rosler. Now you might notice one thing that's a little different from the others. There's no one here with me tonight, and that's actually with good reason, because tonight we're gonna take a traipse down a bit of a harder road, a bit of a harder spirit road with our friends at High Mark Distillery out in Reno, Nevada. Now, they were kind enough to send along an incredibly generous assortment of their offerings, and they are absolutely incredible, no doubt. But given that I want to be alive tomorrow to see people, we're not going to sample all of them tonight. We're going to sample a handful of them, but just a little bit of a backstory. Recently, a couple episodes ago, we had Felicia Keith Jones on the show, and she is an incredible powerhouse of a female master distiller here in the States, Reno, Nevada, specifically, formerly a bush pilot in Alaska. So definitely an episode to go back and check out with regards to how she went from flying in dangerous territory to distilling in wonderfully dangerous territory, deliciously dangerous, one might say. So be sure to go back, check out her story. Check out High Mark Distillery at highmarkdistillery.com. And without further ado, let's see what they have to offer. So distilling obviously refers to the harder spirits, as opposed to, being a winemaker or being a brewer of beer. No, instead, we're talking about the harder stuff. Now, harder is kind of a misnomer because not all of it has to be crazy in strength, but a lot of times the origin of it is. So when we talk about what High Mark does, and High Mark does well, we're going to try here in a little bit is going to be their Moonshine. So everyone's got a concept, I think. Everyone's got a name associated with it, but just what is it? Well, it's that stuff that they make out in the woods under the secrecy of the Appalachian woodland, and typically made from sweet corn. And just there's names for it: White Lightning, Rot Gut, all this other stuff. But really what High Mark has done is made an incredible product. It's taken a long-standing tradition and really just made it accessible to the masses, which is cool. So on today's Tries It, I've never had straight moonshine before, so that's going to happen. But before we take a trip down into High Mark territory, we need to get our equipment set up. And for me, anytime I'm drinking stuff that's maybe a little bit on the harder scale, I have some glassware that I like to use. It's got a little indent on the bottom here. Don't worry, I've been using this a little bit today, so it might look a little cloudy. It's got a little bump on the bottom. Why is the bump on the bottom? You see that raised piece? That's because we have a little silicone ice globe maker that is currently melting, and my hand is soaking now. So terrific behind the scenes, but there you go. Nice little ice ball, and we're in. We're ready to get rolling with High Mark Distillery's first offering, the first one I was introduced to actually from another guest of the show, Mitch Miller, Big Mitch. His recipe made its way to Felicia and crew through a family trip to Gatorland in Florida. So everything happens for a reason. Everything's connected. I love the intro on the back of the bottle, if you'll indulge me for a moment. A family vacation to Gatorland in Florida led to a great friendship between High Mark Distillery and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Miller. So, Mitch, big fan, man. Apparently you're really good at randomly meeting people in various parts of this scene. So the first one up on the docket is the Silver State Blueberry Cobbler. Now again, we're not going to be crazy purists here and use a new glass for every sample, and we're not going to drink too much of it. But first of all, take a look at that color, other side. It's just a beautiful, so the base is the moonshine. The base is High Mark's moonshine, and then there's a wonderful set of fruit and other flavorings added in, and this blueberry cobbler is it's everything you'd want. I've had a couple people try it, and it's wonderful because it's not that sickeningly sweet blueberry liqueur carryover. It's not like blueberry pie filling. It's just a light, fresh blueberry, almost like a little tiny citrus clean finish. Like it doesn't hang around on the palate. It is just a wonderful, wonderful sipping drink. And you know, coming in not powerful at all. I believe 25 proof. So it's not big. Again, not crazy like I'm going to do to myself here in a minute with the Moonshine, but bear with me. But I mean, just brilliant sipper. This is an all day thing. You can mix it, but I don't know why you would, to be honest. So, in the spirit of Chazzy not being here with me today, if I got to go, rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a solid 9. There's no question. Everything that it should do, that it should taste like, it does. And you know, as the ice melts it just a little bit, it gets even cleaner, even clearer. So like a little splash of water. Anyone who's a whiskey drinker, bourbon drinker, scotch drinker, you know, you add a little water to wake it up. But, you know, I don't know that that's lost here. Maybe that's just me though. So, super strong, really strong. So, just to give you an insight into the studio here, I have a sink like literally this way. It is but a step away. Next up in the holster, so we got a 9 out of 10 on the Blueberry Cobbler. That's not a surprise. This one, again, to pull back the curtain a little bit, I just had a friend show up to the house, and he's a big bourbon drinker. And I said, hey, you want to help me try something out? And so we tried it, and this was another gem. So I do have some inside knowledge of this. It is High Mark's Cherry Vanilla, Blind Cat Cherry Vanilla. Again, when you start with a base that is pure, just good, clean drinking, and you add flavor to it and you do it intelligently, it's going to be amazing. Like, you have no choice. And so, first of all, the color, I love how playful the color is. You know, it's cherry vanilla. It's playful. You could add this to just club soda. You know, you can mix it in a lot of things, and I think the color is just brilliant. But the smell, the nose of it. So I've had cherry stuff, I've had vanilla stuff. I personally don't like cherry. And I typically don't gravitate towards vanilla liqueurs in most ways. But when you put the two together with somebody masterful like Felicia and her crew at High Mark, and you put it into, again, a super clean base, this is, in a word, brilliant. Again, it's not that overwhelming cough syrup cherry. It's not that overwhelming pie filling. You know, I feel the need to use pie filling here between blueberry and cherry. I think that's where a lot of us go to. You know, even when you're tasting like a cordial or a schnapps, you know, it tends to be kind of overbearing. Not the case here in the slightest. It is clean, pure. The vanilla is in the background. It's I won't say it's an afterthought, but it is not in the forefront. You get the cherry first, and you get a nice little vanilla soothe. I almost said smooth, soothe afterwards. So it's a brilliant. Just a brilliant. You know, again, these are. Here it is, winter. We're going to get another 5 inches of snow. And it's still really good. I can't imagine this poolside with some rocks and just a double pour and just sit by the pool. How good can it get? How good can it get? So, cherry vanilla. You know, again, for me, I'll call it a solid 8.5 because, like, I prefer the blueberry over. That's just a personal preference. But again, is anything amiss with it? Absolutely not. If you like cherry, you like vanilla, this will be an easy 10 for you. Slam dunk all day long. So now we're going to transition into, how's that for production volume? Maybe we're taking volume. I don't know. Me getting up and rinsing out of glass. That's what happens when I don't have a partner here. It feels kind of lonely now. So looking at these two, you know, the cordial element, the mix element is one side of what High Mark does and does well. And, you know, the flavors, they're awesome. Hi, Wesley, would you like to come through? If so, make it quick. You know, the mixes are one angle of what they do. Then they take those mixes to a whole other level. So if you go back and you listen to the episode with Felicia, on the show, she mentions a Hawaiian coffee rum that High Mark makes called Kopeka. I probably mispronounced that. Sorry, Felicia. But it's right here. And you'll notice smaller bottle with good reason. This is some of the most concentrated, beautiful rocket fuel you can ever imagine. For the ASMR folks. Oh, I didn't get the pop. There's a little one. Tiny pour here, because this is 80 proof. This is 40%. So we're only going to put a little bit in here and just let it get a little bit of ice on it. Let a little water get in there with it. Shake it around, swirl it around. But I mean, this is no joke. When you say coffee liqueur, everyone goes to Kahlua, Tia Maria, depending on how old you are. Maybe some of you remember that. And others. There's other coffee liqueurs. This will blow them all out of the water. It's been a little bit. I tried this the first day that I got it. I've kind of forgotten, but I remember just how impressive it is. This is truly, if you're looking to instill something in a drink and a recipe that really has that authentic, beautiful coffee flavor, God, is this it? And, you know, I know what I'm going to rate this already, but I'm going to humor myself here. Kopeka from High Mark Distillery. God, there's no burn. There's no burn at all. All it is like one of the best cups of coffee you've ever had, with a wonderfully smooth rum backbone to it. That's mind-blowing that is 80 proof. That drink's as smooth as the 25 proofs did. And that's a problem. That's a big problem if you're like me and you like coffee flavored things. Because this right here is lights out perfection. I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. It's one of my favorite things I've ever drank in my life. So Felicia, crew at High Mark, kudos, well done. Again, 11 out of 10. One of the best things, one of the top 10 things I've ever drank in my life. Probably in the top 5, to be honest. I'm waiting for the day where I'm not so lazy that I can't make it down here and grab it and put it in my coffee on a weekend. Hopefully that day's coming soon. So Kopeka. Exquisite. I mean, you'll never taste anything like it. You know, they could stop making everything else they make, and I know their Applejack and their Apple Jane have really proved to be their flagships, but you could hang your hat on this and just be another Kahlua. Only better, because the authentic coffee flavor comes through. And there's a story, go back, listen to the episode if you want to hear it, but about how authentically instilled the coffee flavor is from Hawaii. So check it out. But I'm telling you, God, if you try one thing, get on that and try it. Now, I'm buying time, and I'm sure by now you can tell that, because I do have just the slightest bit of fear of what's to come. Full disclosure, as a Northeast PA born and bred guy from a small town, one would think I would have tried this by now. One would think I'd have come across it in some way, shape, or form, and I haven't. But you're here with me tonight, courtesy of High Mark Distillery, Felicia Keith Jones. Let's strap in. Now again, super tiny pour, because this is rocket fuel. This is probably not the smartest decision I'll make all day, but what ones are. And I know I'm gonna ditch the ice ball for this too, actually, just because I want the full experience. Okay, there it is. Silver State Moonshine, High Mark Distillery Reserve. I mean, clear as anything. That's up there. It's up there, and it's not harsh at all. It's definitely got a burn. It's 90 proof, 45%. So you know what you're getting into. You're not walking into this and going, why does it burn? But if you step back from it and you let your mouth calm down a little bit and you let your throat calm down, it's really the essence of everything you've drank before it. Like, you can see where everything kind of springs from. I mean, this is the base. You know, the Moonshine's the base. But again, use it as you would maybe vodka in a cocktail. And it's going to give you an added layer, because what you get is the sweetness from the sweet corn. And you get an element that you don't taste in a vodka. You know, there's, you know, certain different types of vodkas, you can taste what they're made from. And that's absolutely true with High Mark's Moonshine. Like, you can taste it is different. It is definitely not... There's a sweetness to it. Of course, there's a burn. Yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing. You know, having never tasted it before, it's obviously it's strong. It's 90. It's gonna put a stamp on you. But in a cocktail, mixed in with something, you know, mixed in with what you would, I don't know. I wonder if you can make a moonshine martini. I don't know that yet. You know, maybe you can make it dirty with moonshine. How good would that be? I don't know. Maybe make it at home. Call the show. Tell us. Impression of moonshine. I can't rate it. And here's why. I don't know what to expect. I can rate a lot of other things. You know, I've never really had moonshine. What I would base it on is in the hard liquor, you know, like the hard distilled spirits game, strong 9. Like, it's everything you'd expect. It doesn't have any kind of like funky aftertaste. It hits your palate, it evaporates. You get the sweetness of the corn, and the alcohol burn is not overbearing. It's what you would expect heading into a 90 proof spirit. So let's do the rating game again in reverse. Start here again with Moonshine. Again, just based on it being a hard distilled spirit, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. No question. Copica, 11 out of 10, 500 out of 10. I don't care what you call it. Like, this, bury me with a bottle of this, please. I'd be a happy soul. Cherry vanilla. Again, I'm going to call it a strong 8, just because cherry might not be my bag, but the way they handled cherry was impressive, because it's not overbearing, and it's really freaking amazing because it springs forward from their base. And then blueberry, strong 9. You know, it's something I could drink all day, no question. So again, Felicia Keith Jones, head distiller, master distiller at High Mark Distillery, highmarkdistillery.com. Go back, check out her episode. Be sure to check them out on Facebook and on Instagram. They are at highmark_distillery on Instagram, and at FK Jones on Instagram as well for Felicia. Be sure to check out, follow, subscribe, etc. If you are ever in the Reno, Nevada area, be sure to check them out at 4690 Longley Lane, Suite 28, Reno, Nevada, 89502. If you're in the area, give them a call, 775-622-9188. Again, can't say enough about them. Great organization, great story, great backstory, great people, and most importantly, great products. So be sure to check them out. High Mark Distillery. Just order random stuff and just enjoy it, because what else do you really have to do during this quarantine time we live in? So once again, this has been Shawn Rosler with the Course Grind Podcast. CGPC tries it. Next episode, who knows? We're going to wait until we get another sample in, and when we do, we're going to do another Tries It video. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to stay tuned in to the show. Stay safe out there.